Good evening, this is Rob Wilson and welcome to the Eurodollar market preview for Friday, the 27th of April 2012. And going into this market, I'm a seller of any weakness I perceive at 132.80 and I'm a buyer back down at 132. If you want to know why and a little bit more, stay with me and we'll get into the detail. So looking at the 1 hour chart, this is the area of today's action. And you can see here that as I mentioned in the session review, the resistance level we identified at 132.50 did a pretty damn good job. Not just once but twice, and once that had been tapped, and we had this huge sell-off. Well, I say huge, but huge by the standards of the last week or so. A good 50 pips over the course of the next 3 hours. We get the level at 132 comes into play. It gets tapped once and then again, and then we're back up on American news to retest 132.50 again, which gives yet again. The American afternoon has been very quiet, and we're gradually clawing our way back up to 132. So yet again, this weak uptrend is still in place. But Friday's a new day, and I do note that we got some fairly meaningful resistance up above price at 132.80. It's going to need to punch through 132.80. If it's going to hold it, it's going to need to go through on volume. And like I say, there's a fair bit of resistance up there going back on the 4 hour chart. I think that's going to be a hard level to defeat, which is why I'm keen to. I want to say keen to, but I'm prepared to throw some money at it, just to see if my hunch is right. And I think if we do go through, there will be an opportunity to trade with the trend by that stage, because like I say, it'll go through on power. By the same token, if there is a sell-off from 132.80, then we could well see this rising support, and 132 and 131.80 and 131.50. We could well see these support levels come back into play. And it being a Friday, which is often a day of reversal in a week where there's been, where we trended, albeit weekly, and we often see a reversal on a Friday. And there's some pretty key news which I want to look at next, which backs up this sort of thesis. Okay, so here the news is there's not an awful lot overnight. But what I noticed here is after some Italian numbers at 0400 is we've got the Italian 10-year bond auction happening through the London forenoon. Now listen, this week the euro has shaken off some really shitty news, and it just keeps grinding up. But if anything's going to turn it, then an Italian 10-year bond auction could well be the moment. So there is the potential in terms of the fundamentals, and there's a potential trigger for a sell-off right there. If we manage to get through that in one piece, then we've got another swathe of US numbers at 8:30 and some more at 9:55. Nothing hugely significant as far as Forex Factory are concerned, but we really don't draw any conclusions for that. Any news has got the power to move the market, so they need to be watched. So 8:30 and 9:55. I think no point going to my trading chart, because I think by this stage the levels are probably tattooed on your soul. So let's have a look at our summary and see how that leaves us. Okay then, looking at our summary then for the day. Look, we're still in, this weak uptrend, which, for all intents and purposes, as active day traders, presents to us as a range, albeit one that's climbing up slowly. However, I do note that we are approaching strong resistance. Structurally, no real change. We've got resistance at 132.50 and 132.80, and support at 132, 131.80, 131.50, and 131. With respect to news, we've got some Italian news at 0400, but the key event for me tomorrow is the Italian 10-year bond auction. Okay, and then we've got American figures at 8:30 and 9:55 EST. So, what is Wilson's plan? Well, I've got no bias, going into the session as usual, unless we sell off meaningfully from anywhere between 132.50 and 132.80. Okay, until that time, I'll be trading against well-defined support and resistance edges. So we already have in place at anywhere between 132.50 and 132.80 above, and 132 below. But I am just wary of this sell-off, and if I see some energy, some bearish energy, creeping or thrusting into the market, then I should be standing aside on support. And by that stage, we'll at least have a trend on the 1 minute. And there may well be some trending opportunities to the downside, trading off support as resistance. So, I still have no bias. There's no bias here. We're trading off the edges. But, if we do get a sell-off up above where price is at the moment, say at about 132.80, it could be quick and it could be very powerful. And if that's in that sort of situation, just stand aside, wait for the trend to develop, and then there should be some opportunities on the short-term timescale to trade with it. Of course, this may be wrong. We may well burst right through 132.80. But either way, it's a Friday. There's some meaningful fundamental, action hitting the market. Just have your wits about you. Okay. I guess a good tip tonight. And trade safe tomorrow. Let's not, bin all our profits on the last day of the week. That's all I've got. This is Wilson, out.